I'm Jen.
I'm Mike.
And today what we're going to practice is it's a good hand drill, because normally we talk always about developing body structure, but this is a good drill to start letting go of the third stick, how to just let it go. Hawkins Chung calls this like blender method, like being a blender, right? Or you know how a blender starts moving with all the metal blades, and you try to stick your hand in there, right? It chops up your hand. So your hands want to be like the blades of the blender, right? Okay, so how do we let the hands go? That's a really easy drill, and there's different variations of it. In the Philippines, they have a knife. They have a knife or stick movement. They call this hubad, right? Hubad. There's also I call this pocket punch drill. Depending on how, whether or not your elbow position and stuff like that. So the structure has to remain the same. Okay. If you lose the structure of your elbows and you're using a swinging type movement of your shoulders, then it becomes more like the Filipino drill. Okay, hubad. If you adhere to the principles and the concepts that we always talk about in the body structure, then it's going to look and feel more familiar to you as far as Wing Chun goes. Okay, so how does it start? Well, first, put one foot in front. We're going to start with the right foot in front, so that you guys can see. Okay, and one side is going to punch. Okay, and Brooke, you want to make sure you get like really close here. Okay, so what we're going to do is just the hand movements, so that you can see this. Okay, or even come over to the shoulder. So from here, I punch straight, just like just like our typical punch. Mike is going to parry the movement, all right, or pock the movement. Okay. Then he's going to go under his arm and he's going to wedge, and he's going to bring the hand back to Wu Sao. Okay. His elbows are dropped. Then from here, he's going to pock and punch. Okay. Then from here, that forces me to pock to center, parry to center. Then I'm going to bring my bottom hand up, and I come up to the center line. This is now in a, we call this cross arm chi sao, right? I'm using our arms are crossed, right? Then once I'm in this position, then I enter with a pak sao, with a small step in, and I punch, okay? And then Mike's going to repeat the drill, pak, and we go back and forth, okay? Just like this. Okay. Now, right now we're focusing a lot on the arms, okay? And the position of our hands, right? But you have to also remember that you got to use your hips. If I only do the hands like this and focus on the hand movements, my shoulder is going to get really sore. Okay, right? It's because it's carrying a lot of the weight. So you have to remember is use the hips, gunslinger, hula hoop, right? So when I do this movements, you're going to see my weight shift. Okay, when my punches, I shift a lot of my weight towards my back leg, right? Then I come up to Wu Sao, right? And then from here I pock, but when I pock, you'll see my hula hoop, right? I hula hoop the hip forward, right? And then back and forth. So you're going to see a lot of the weight shifting, right? This also starts to look a lot like Tai Chi. Tai Chi, they do the same thing. They do this, and then when they move, this is single hand chi sao, but they move the weight like this. Okay, so this is their sensitivity drill, right? They call it push hands, right? So you're starting to see the hand, even though the hands are different, the body moving forward and back like this, and the shifting of the hip. Okay, it resembles a lot like Tai Chi. Okay, but the hand movements is very Wing Chun from here. Right, everything is directed at the center. Right. Okay. Then from here, make sure that you also switch your feet. Okay, practice the other side. I pock. See how he parries it. Make sure you don't parry too much sideways. If you practice sideways, then the second hand is going to get you. See? Okay. He parries the first one, but over parries it. Right. Then the second hand, see, it's going to go right through the middle, and it's going to pop him. Okay. So make sure that you adhere to all the principles, which is cover your center line. Don't go past your center. Then wedge the hand. Now pocket enter and use your hips. Use the hula hoop. Okay? But most important is make sure you use a relaxed structure. Don't get all tense, okay? Relax, keep the heavy elbow, learn to stay planted on the ground, right? And practice both sides, okay? Make sure also is as soon as you pop, his hand starts, see, I can feel his hand starting to come up to Wu. Make sure you bring your hand back to Wu Sao so he's ready to guard again. Okay, don't leave it out there. See, I come back to Wu Sao, cover. Okay, and everything is attack. So you want to make sure everything is attack. See, so when I pak and enter, everything is attacking. My pak Sao is attacking. My punch is attacking. Okay, then he's going to come up. Boom. See, from here I attack with this hand. See, attack. Then the other hand, this is the Indiana Jones. I don't take the pressure off, okay, until I replace it with this hand. But this hand's attacking. Then I pak and right now we're not very close to each other, so I can pak right in the middle of his forearm. It's okay. But if I take half step in, I have to pak his elbow, okay? Because out here it's very hard for him to reach with his elbow. But once I take a half step in, it's very easy for him to elbow me. So depending on how close you are is going to dictate where you can pak Sao, okay? Where you should pak Sao, okay? If I'm in close, you should cover the elbow, right? If we're practicing in really tight, see, I want to pak the elbow, If we're a bit farther, I can pak more towards the wrist or the forearm, okay? This is okay, right? If we're practicing really long range, I can practice even pop the wrist. See? So depending on how close you are to your partner when you're practicing this drill. Okay? So this is a fun little drill. Alright, once you get that, then what I want to do is take it to your Chi Sao. So from here, Mike's going to do it for you. So from here, we start in Dan Chi, single hand, and we're going to do this cycle a couple of times. Right? And then when he feels comfortable, okay, he's going to, after I punch and he's in Bong Sao, he's going to sidestep, triangle footwork, and see he's already getting to this position. Then he's going to pak and enter my elbow and enter my space. Right? Because he's close to me, he's pocketing my elbow, which is smart. So I can't elbow him in the face. Right? Okay? So this is important, okay? Now he's entered my space, which is good. And he's in the bent arm range, which is good. If you're on the receiving end, you don't want to be in that position. So, from here, he goes in, right? And when he comes in, right? And I feel, I feel in trouble. So I want to shift, I want to turn and face him. I want my body to face him, okay? So when he does this, he pocks. Now see, that tells me to do this drill. I pock, I raise my hand, right? And now we're in cross-arm Chi Sao. Now I can return fire and go in, okay? So you can practice like that, okay? So one person starts the drill even. So Mike's going to start the drill by stepping. When he steps, see, I finish the drill. Yeah, see, right away he covers. Over parry, so that means my other hands can snake through. Don't over parry, right? Don't go sideways. Attack your center line, okay? It's not this way, it's this way, see? Yeah. Okay, so you can practice like that, right? Once you get comfortable with that, and make sure you practice both sides, and make sure you practice left and right, and make sure you're also on the defending and receiving end, right? After you do that, then take it even a step out to distance fighting. So now we're here. Okay, I'm going to step in, I'm going to punch Mike. He's going to do that drill. He's going to step, and then see, I recover, right? Okay, then get back up. Okay, or I let him do the drill, see, so that he gets used to entering my space. And then once he's in the bent arm range, right, then he should what? He should step in, step into my space and wave me out. Yes. Okay, that's the finish. That's the finish. Okay, so from here. I'm being a good partner. I'm gonna punch Mike. Yeah, he gets in and waves me out. Yeah. Okay, which is good for him. He can practice the whole entire movement that way, and then eventually you want to learn to do it in one movement. Okay, so I come in, I punch. Yeah, that's it. One more time. Sorry, that's okay. All right, I punch. Yeah. Make sure you don't. When you do this, make sure your elbow doesn't come to your side like this. Okay? It's like a hitch. You ever see a baseball player, they go like this and then they hitch before they swing the bat? Okay? You don't want to do that. You want to, wherever your hands or your elbow position is, it should be center, you just go from there. Alright? Don't hitch the elbow. Okay? So from here, I punch. See, the elbow's right here. Yeah. Okay, so he's going to fire right from there. Okay? Yeah. Okay, good. Right? So you want to practice, you can practice that drill in different aspects of different ranges. Okay? Then later you can even get some sparring gloves on, right? Or some MMA gloves or boxing gloves even. But boxing gloves are a little tough to do it. But then you practice, right? Then from here, let's say I got gloves on. Mike's in a good stance, you know, in a good stance. Yeah. So from here, right? I'm gonna jab. See, he doesn't feel safe. He doesn't feel. I'm not committed. See, I'm not committed. I'm just kind of gauging. See, I want this hand, right? Okay. So I'm gauging. So he's just kind of buying his time. But as soon as he sees me commit, boom, then he's got to step, right? Right? Boom, yeah. Then he comes in, right? Yeah. Then he's going to reset. Right? So then. Right? Use your other hand too, right? Yeah. Boom. Boom. Okay. Then, boom. Yeah. So he learns to recognize a real attack, and then of course, if he has MMA gloves, then he can finish. Right? He can practice finishing. Okay. So.
Scary.
Yeah. See, that's another thing, is you want to train in that environment. Okay. It's easy to train like this. Okay? If I go like this, and I come in, and then I go, see? Mike feels comfortable. He can return fire. Okay? I go like this, you punch. See? He feels like he can right away attack me, okay? And that's good. And I use the analogy today. I was talking to everyone here today. It's like I put you on a treadmill. And let's say I put it on a slow setting, okay, and you're like this. But then I crank it up to a medium setting, and all of a sudden you're like this. Okay? But you still have your structure. You're still okay. You still have your balance. But then I crank it up, and all of a sudden you're like this, right? And then I crank it up more, and you're like this. Right? Now you're out of control. So I have to slow it down a little bit until you can regain your balance and your posture, right? And then that's where you want to be. You want to be just at the. You want to train to always push to just out of your comfort zone, just where you feel like you're going to lose your structure. Then you want to ease off a little bit, and that becomes your new standard. Okay? And each time you train, you should keep moving that. You should keep moving that line forward, right? Just like your Wing Chun, always going forward, right? In your life, you should always be going forward. In your training, you should always be going forward. Okay? So that's a good way of seeing it. Okay, so now, if I come in, right, I'm like this, right, and I come in, right, I'm attacking, right, and then I step in, I go like, see now the lights, Mike's emergency lights come on. Oh, emergency, right? Now his hands, okay. In other words, I'm forcing him to go faster than he's used to. Okay, so I'm cranking up the speed. Okay, but by doing that, he gets more and more used to that feeling of emergency, right? Which is important, because if you don't get that, if you don't train in that environment, then when it does happen to you on the street, you're not used to it. Then you freeze. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. Okay, so you can also practice that in this drill. Okay, one more time. See, we go like this. Okay, so we're very comfortable. But see, I crank up the speed. Right? Stay relaxed. Yeah. Okay. Then from here, right? Yeah, I crank up the speed more. Right? Yeah. Right. There you go. Okay. And then I do something like I change. Punch. I change the hand, right? So I go the other side, and then I go the other side, right? And so
what's going on?
Yeah, so he's trying to keep up. Like, oh. But That's good, because then when he deals with a single punch, right, or he goes, boom, see, but then see, he doesn't even know I'm going to throw the second punch, but he's already, bam, 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 he's ready, his hands are moving. And that's why Hawkins calls this blender method. Okay? So we're going to get more and more into different things you could do off of that drill. But make sure when you're practicing, you don't lose control of your structure. You got to back it up with your structure. If not, then it becomes just a Filipino drill. It becomes hubad, which is a more toe-heel sway, right? Toe-heel sway. They turn the shoulders, right? And it's not I'm not saying this one is better than the other. It's just a different structure, right? And we know that from our Chinese boxing, our Wing Chun, we don't want to use this structure, right? This is not good for us, okay? Right, but not to say that it's worse or better. It's just completely different structure. So that's how come they can use this structure with a knife and add it into their Pananukan, which is called Pananukan, which is their Filipino boxing, because it's the same type of structure, right? Knife, stick, they do this. Okay, so like I said, completely different structure. Even though on the outside it may look like the same drill, but the body mechanics involved is completely different, different for both. So that's how come you have to be careful when you're training this type of drill. Make sure you don't lose control of your elbows. You keep your feet planted on the ground. You practice your center line, things like that. Okay? And that's it. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.